making that up. No, a lot of it is actually taken directly from reality. The backgrounds, for example, as you see the Fushimi Inari shrine in the middle, those tori frequently will show up in a variety of places. And they're simply one of the cultural elements that surround you when you're in Japan. Each of those, the words that are written on it are typically the person or group who donated that particular tori. The tori do eventually degrade over time. They are made out of painted wood, and so they have to be replaced. And when they are replaced, new people do them. So somewhere in Nara, which is a town that is not too far from Kyoto, which is where all the little deer are, if you're familiar with the deer of Nara. On one of the temples, they had to redo the tiles for the roof of the temple. And you can see at the pagoda to the left how there are tiles on the roof. And each of those tiles, you pay for the tile and then you get to write your name under it. And so that goes onto the roof of the temple and allows you to become a part of this history. And so there's constantly little things like this that you're experiencing. And it's really just a wonderful environment, and people are just so friendly, and it's super, super safe. So it's one of those places that even if you don't speak any Japanese, although we will have a sort of crash course in just enough Japanese to get by before we go, even if you don't speak any Japanese at all, people will stop on their way to work to walk you where you need to go. Most Japanese people do speak at least some English, although it is very hard to get them to talk to you because they are very shy. But at the same time, they're very, very eager to help you out. So it's a wonderful experience of being able to go to a culture that is very, very different from ours. And yet you're doing it in an incredibly safe and supported way. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to get to experience some of this. So um, I can go on at great length, just just tell me how much time I have.
Wonderful.
Yeah. I'm also happy to answer questions if anybody has any questions about it.
All right. So we have the itinerary highlights, right? These are some of the things that are happening. Your departure date is Friday, June 12th, overnight flight to Osaka Kansai Airport, which the abbreviation is KIX, and then a transfer to Kyoto. Uh, on the 14th, we will have your orientation with your local AIFS staff, followed by a local area walking tour and your welcome dinner. On the 15th, you'll have your walking tour either of the Gion or the Higashiyama district. On the 16th, your classes will start. On the 17th, you'll have your full day excursion to the Toei Studio Park. On the 19th, I believe you have classes and then a tea ceremony. On the 20th and the 21st, we'll have an optional excursion to Hiroshima, and then a half day excursion on the sorry, I got blocked by the chat. The half-day excursion to Arashiyama and the bamboo garden forest, and then your last day of classes and farewell dinner will be on Friday, the 26th of June, returning on the 27th. So those are the highlights, but that's not everything. The courses, and I believe your faculty are going to give us a little more information about the courses that are part of this program. So I'll pass it to you, Professor Lacefield. If you're, I'm not sure, Professor
Sure.
Marshall.
I was just checking to see if Jessica had made it in. I sent her an invite. But I can tell you just a little bit about the discussion that we had to determine which courses were going to be the best fit for this. So Anthropology 200 ethnographic film is both CSU and UC transferable. Ethnography is something that is quite important, and anthropology is a natural uh, alignment with that. And then MART 394 interaction design is something that we've been teaching. It's kind of unusual in the community college area. You're much more likely to find something like this at Academy of Art or CCA or someplace like that. So our area tends to compete with those or with bachelor program. And we are actually currently in the process of applying to be able to offer a bachelor's in interaction design. So this would be a great way to sort of dip your foot in the water. I don't want to take away Professor Marshall's thunder here, but as I said, we spent a lot of time talking about this to come up with what is going to be just the absolute best experience to have during this time. And ethnographic film was just such a no-brainer for this. It is such a wonderful example because there's so many really amazing Japanese films. Again, everything from historical dramas to Akira Kurosawa to modern anime. All of this, it would be wonderful. Like if we were able to go to Tokyo, we would definitely want to go to the Ghibli Museum. There is not a Ghibli Museum in Kyoto, but there are Ghibli stores at least. So you can go and do your shopping for that and pick up all your Totoro and Kiki merchandise. Um, yes,
Carla,
interaction. Sorry, I
um,
see. Go
sorry
ahead.
to interrupt you, but I think Professor Marshall was able to make it into the Zoom.
Hooray! Then I
Yes.
will let her talk about her own class.
All right.
Hello?
Yes, we can hear
Oh,
you.
good. Okay. Sorry. It looks like we're having technical difficulties, obviously, but luckily I'm an anthropologist, so I'm gonna have to adapt. I'm sorry you're not seeing me. Um, anyway, I was able to get on the phone, so that's great. I'm thrilled about Japan. I'm sorry you're meeting me in this manner, but it's going to be an incredible experience that you'll remember for forever, for the rest of your life. Ethnographic film is going to be everything that Hyla just mentioned and talked about, and probably more. I'm going to have you go to different sites and different locations where films were actually filmed and write about those experiences. Not only will we watch Japanese films, but we're also going to talk about what cultural insights that they can bring to us. So I'm very excited about the experience. We'll also be taking field trips in which we'd apply different things that we're going to be learning. I think that's all I'm going to say, unless there's some very specific questions.
So I was just popping some of the things into the chat. So interaction design is something that is a part. It started out as a sort of subset of web design, and it was fundamentally about how do you lay out a web page? How do you make it really accessible? How do you use universal design and accessibility as the foundation for what you're building and designing? But it's become so much more as the Internet of Things or IoT gets incorporated into everything. Uh, it becomes about how do you interact with your environment and how do you, as a designer, create interactions that allow people to effectively navigate the systems that you're dealing with. So, those of you who are in school have experienced the transition to Web Schedule 2.0. Web Schedule 2.0 did not have an interaction designer working on it. I can tell you that right now, because it did not center the user experience. It is clunky and hard to navigate. All of those things need to be thought about and need to be designed for if you're going to have effective systems. And so I see somebody's also asking, can you take the courses if you're attending as a community member? We are a community college. You can take courses. You do have to sign up, but it is a very low bar for you to be able to do so because we accept the top 100% of applicants. So, you are, of course, very welcome to take the class. You do have to go through a little bit of the application process, but anybody can take it. And I do think that interaction design is going to be a really incredibly interesting thing to explore here, because as Western designers, we have certain sets of expectations that go along with that. And when you're in Japan, you see how Japanese culture has subtle differences in the way that they interact with the world around them. And those differences are reflected in the way that things are designed. So, for example, space is at a premium. There's a lot of people in a very small amount of space in Japan. And so everything is designed in a way that facilitates large numbers of people moving through. It really is an effective use of space. There's lots of recycling and stuff that is just built in because you don't want to have a lot of garbage. But just one example that I can think of off the top of my head is toilets. When you experience public toilets in Japan, there are a few different sorts of them. There's the low-end traditional toilet that is a hole in the ground. There's the high-end toilet that has the built-in bidet and like multiple seat heating portions and stuff like that. But the average middle one, the water that comes to fill the bowl comes in through the back first. So you are getting fresh water that you're supposed to use to wash your hands. So when you flush, you are washing your hands in water that is going to go into the toilet. So that's one of the ways that like recycling happens just as a part of the process. When I first saw that, I thought that is just such a clever way of doing it. But at the same time, you would have a conflict if you were trying to do that in a Western culture because of the association of toilet water with being dirty, even though it's coming directly from the faucet, just like water that you drink. So it's one of those interesting complications about how you interact with your environment and the cultural expectations that are built into that. There is a question for Professor Marshall about exploration of photography by Japanese artists in anthropology.
Okay. Um, yes, we'll be talking a little bit about photography and how it deals with anthropology. My master's is actually in visual anthropology. So my original training as an anthropologist and archaeologist came from that field. So we'll be analyzing images and talking very briefly about photography since it is a film class. Um, does that answer the question? The person that asked it? Maybe we could hear from them. Okay, great. Great. So yeah, we'll be really focusing in on film, but really to understand film, you're going to need to know some photography. Great. Do we have any other questions?
All right, we'll keep going and feel free to put them in the chat. We'll make sure we go through the chat by the end of the presentation to answer all the questions. I told you a little bit about, well, I told you that I was from AIFS Abroad. We are a study abroad organization that has been sending US college students abroad since 1964. That's not all we do, actually. We have a wide range of programs that all focus on the movement of the world's youth. So not only do we do US students abroad, we do international students into the US and around the globe. We have worked with over 1.8 million students since 1964 and with the district since 1988. So we have several decades of experience sending faculty, students, and participants from the San Mateo County Community College District on programs all over the world. So we're very excited to have you in Japan. Our student services will pick up the program as soon as you arrive. So there will be a one-time group transfer by bus to meet the majority of the students' flights from the Kyoto airport to the accommodation in Kyoto. On that next day, you'll have your orientation meeting to get you all adjusted and for the program. We'll have a welcome and farewell dinners, as well as the local area walking tour. And you'll have that program coordinator that will be there day in, day out to make sure that everything runs as smoothly as possible. And if it doesn't, because we know sometimes, real life happens. And if there's any kind of issue or glitch, you'll have that coordinator there to make sure that you get the assistance you need to get back to the program as quickly as possible. Housing is included, right? A big portion of the program fee goes towards your housing. This will be in a centrally located tourist class hotel within a 30-minute commute to the study center where your class is, or both classes are offered. 2 participants per room. In the hotel, you'll also have a co-working space. So there are rooms where, you can do a group study session, cafe, a cafeteria. You'll have laundry facilities on site, coin operated. Wi-Fi is provided. No meals are included. You will also receive a transportation pass, an IC smart card that is loaded with 5,000 yen, and that will cover the commute to class and back, as well as all of the transportation for the local activities, right? And then you can also use the IC card as a pay-as-you-go debit card. And so if you want to top it off and use it at convenience stores, vending machines, and things like that, it's great for that purpose. So students will have that as soon as they arrive in Kyoto. Cultural activities that are included in the program will be a traditional tea ceremony. As I mentioned before, you'll have entrance and attractions to the Toei Kyoto Studio Park. We will have go see a movie, a local movie theater, and view a Japanese film. You'll have your half-day excursion to Arashiyama, and that, of course, includes your transportation, your guided tour, your entrance to the temple. And then you're walking tour to either Gion or Higashiyama districts, and that will be a guided tour as well. And then just to give you a summary of everything, the program fee will depend on the number of students or participants that go, right? So if we get a group of 25 to 29 students, the fee will be slightly higher. It is 4,325. If we get 30 to 34 students, and we are anticipating hitting that number, the program fee will be 4,165. And as I mentioned before, we just wanted to sum up everything that is included. Your accommodation for the duration of the program in twin-bedded rooms, your IC transportation pass loaded with 5,000 yen, your AIFS student services included 24/7 emergency contact, your orientation, local area tour, and then the activities in Kyoto that we mentioned, right? All of those things will be fully included. Medical insurance is included. So if you have to see any doctor, need any medical care while you're on the program, and up to 30 days past the program, if you are traveling, if you continue your travels that summer, you'll be covered by our medical insurance. And then pre-departure services and orientation. So about a month prior to departure, we'll meet there in probably Skyline. I'm sure the district will let us know where. And we will have a pre-departure orientation to get you ready, right? To cover all of the practical things that you want to think about before you travel. What is not included is airfare. There will be an optional group flight available. There are your tuition and fees are not included. So when you sign up for the courses, then you're subject to the regular tuition and fees that you would pay. Textbooks that their faculty might require for the courses are not included. Personal expenses, including passport fees and personal travel, are not included. Meals are not included except for the welcome and farewell events. And then the optional excursion to Hiroshima. And then during the application process, when you pay your deposit, you will be offered an additional trip protection insurance that would protect that program fee in case of cancellation or interruption of the program. The Hiroshima trip is a 2-day and 1-night in excursion, and it includes round-trip transportation by train from Kyoto, 1-night accommodation with breakfast, and entrance to the Peace Memorial Museum and the Peace Park, from what I understand. And then also a visit to Miyajima with entrance to the shrine. And that will include a staff member that will go to make sure that the program runs smoothly and guided tours. And that fee is an additional $495. And now I think Zed is going to cover eligibility and application.
Am I still sharing? So let me keep
Yes,
sharing.
you're sharing, Kelly.
Okay. Things that just left. So you must be 18 plus years to join. There's no upper limit. So yes, I saw earlier there a chat question. If you're a community member, can you participate in this program? Yes, you can, as long as you get SMCCDG number. Because we are open college, it's a community college. Once you apply, then you get a student ID, you become our student, then you can participate in this program. We would love to have you join. And another one is in good academic standing and complete an interview with a professor of the class you want to take. The interview normally we would be conducted in via Zoom. So you don't have to travel to the campus to conduct the interview. And of course, if both you and the professor are available in person, you can schedule that in person as well. That's depending on both professors' availability. And we have a study abroad application. The application is it will be open soon. The deadline to apply is March 19. As you see, this program, even though Paula just said, depending 25 to 29 people, how much it costs, and over 30 people, how much it costs. So we do have a capacity for this program. So we would want you to apply as early as possible to secure your spot. Meaning, how do you secure your spot? Which meaning you have to pay for the deposit to secure the spot. Is that 450 same? Okay, so it's 450 deposit. In the event if you were not being accepted into the program, the 450 is fully refundable. And I will share in the chat later about the refund policy as well. We have excellent refund policy. So you don't have to worry too much, but I do want you to read about the refund policy till which day you get how much refund. It's very reasonable. So we do need your unofficial transcript And there are a few short essay questions about asking why do you want to study abroad in Japan, and are you able to be independent while study abroad, because you have to make a lot of decisions, health decisions and safety decisions. We want you to be safe and healthy while abroad. Of course, we do provide excellent health insurance while you're in Japan. You can still see doctors and everything. So, yeah, these are the eligibility and the short essay. These are the question. So, these questions we can send you after the presentation. I don't think I don't think we need to go over the essay question, as long as if you have questions, I'm happy to answer them. But I will be sending you the questions when you apply. So travel to Japan, U.S. passport holders, yeah, you don't need a visa, and you will be allowed staying 90 days. And make sure you have you have your valid passport. If you don't have you're a non-US passport holder, we should talk about it on one-on-one. So to discuss what are the visa requirements, if the visa is required for the passport you're holding, I'm happy to schedule the one-on-one with you. And if your passport is about to expire, I highly recommend you apply your new passport right now, since we have, in the US right now, there's some event is going on. We don't know how long it take you to get your new passport at this moment. So apply as early as possible. The new passport will last you 10 years. So how to apply? We have SMCCD application. We will be published that soon. Once you complete, then we have the other procedures. Our new program coordinator, Gerardo, will walk you through the process. If you have any questions, Gerardo, if you could put your contact information in the chat, that would be great. So everybody has your email, so they can email you. And if you could put your phone number as well, if anybody prefer to make phone calls, that would be. I normally like to make phone calls, like answer the question really quick. So we welcome your phone calls and emails. And Gilman Scholarship, this is a really good one. For students who are eligible for a Pell Grant, that's a type of financial aid, federal Pell Grant, you are eligible to apply for Gilman Scholarship. This scholarship opens up twice a year, once in spring, once in fall. The fall semester one just closed. So you will have chance to apply for the spring one. For spring, normally opens up in late January, close in March. Our office and our learning center at each college can help you with your scholarship essay writing. We always host an info session and essay writing session for all the prospective students who wants to apply for Gilman or any other scholarship. These are excellent workshop to attend. Your essay, Gilman scholarship essay, not just for Gilman. There are many other scholarship opportunities. Your essay can be used for different scholarship opportunities. So other ways to apply besides scholarship is fundraising. There are so many ways to raise funds right now, and because we are in this social media age, you can start a GoFundMe account and post in your family Facebook or friends Instagram account. And see, this is where the essay comes in help, because why do people want to donate money to you? You need to write a compelling story. Why do you want to go to Japan? How would this study abroad program benefit you? What would you do to benefit your community, right? So we will teach you all of this. You can write a paragraph post on your GoFundMe account and your social media. All these are super helpful. You never know who would be able to help you, who would donate money for for this program, because there are so many people out there. They advocate for students to study abroad, to see other part of the world, because why there's a Gilman scholarship? Because the U.S. government want us to see other part of the world, to be the ambassador of the U.S., to study abroad, to bring back valuable knowledge, to be representing of U.S. as a whole. So there are a lot of people support study abroad. So I highly recommend you do that. Let's do another way is start saving, perhaps get a part-time job, do window shopping only, don't actually buy stuff that you don't need, and make your own coffee instead of going to Starbucks. Those money, you can spend those money in Japan to buy the tutorial and the cute stuff over there instead. And yeah, all those ways.
Kelly, I just want to jump in because I see that we have about 10 minutes left and we have quite a few questions in the chat. And I think we want to also make sure we have time for those, for people to ask their questions orally if they want to, because I'd love to see some participation.
Yeah.
So
Sure.
can we wrap up? And I think that we can go deeper into the scholarships later, but I want to make sure we have some time for Q&A.
Great. So these are other scholarship we can talk about later when you have questions. We can send you all this informations. And these are our study abroad email and the phone number. And now questions. Feel free to ask questions. I will stop sharing right now. And then feel free to unmute yourself and then ask questions.
So
Any
while people-
questions in the chat that's not been answered?
While people are getting up the courage to ask questions, I think there's a few in the chat I'll read out that maybe you and Zed could help. And I think Zed, I saw you pop back in. Some of the questions I'm seeing here were about the classes. I think there's some questions about when the classes meet. And I see, Hyla, you responded that yours is in the morning and Professor Marshall's in the afternoon. I think I saw a question here also about, do they need to take both classes? And if not, do they get free time? How does that work? Could you elaborate a little bit more on the enrollment and what the schedule looks like?
Yes. For the schedule, I will have Professor Marshall and if you could jump in to answer the question about the schedule. And I answered the first question. You are not required to take both classes. You can choose take one class.
Yes. You can take one class or both classes. We'll have similar field trips, or we'll be going on field trips together. And then Hyla's class will be in the morning. Mine will be in the afternoon. And then we're still getting the start date down for the class. It's possible that we might have some online work for you to do before we go, and that's to prepare you for the experience. It'll be a much more meaningful experience. We're working that out right now, and we'll have more information on that in a week or two.
Thank you. So students, are the classes hosted Mondays through Thursday or?
The schedule varies, and we'll have a very detailed schedule for 2 weeks. But because of the COR and wanting to actually teach the courses and what we need from the course outline of record, we'll have more details on this question in a few weeks. We'll have very specific times that we'll be able to meet either online asynchronously or synchronously. It'll be by class. Hyla's schedule will be a little bit different than mine. And so I'd rather actually just hold off on that and just know that there's going to be some variety. It's probably going to start a week or two before we go. We'll have an opportunity to meet as a group before we go. And then while we're there, we'll be doing, you'll have your own time, you'll have class time, and then we'll also have field trip time that's specific by class and also together. So I know that's really a varied answer, but we'll have it very specific per course in a couple weeks for you. We just need to go through a process for that.
Okay, thank you. So for the room, I saw the room assignment. So students have freedom to request roommate if you have mutual, like for example, I want to be roommate with Paula. Paula wants to be roommate with me. Then we can be roommates together. If another person asks if you can have your own room, the answer is yes. There will be a fee. Paula, do you recall how much is a fee for single occupancy?
We don't have the fee for that yet. It will depend on availability. We have limited capacity for the program. So what we will be able to do is if we cannot accommodate someone that wants a single room, we could give them a refund for the housing portion and have them find their own housing if they wished.
Okay, so I have another question was directly to me. If you are a couple, the wife is attending the class and the husband is not, how do they accompany? I believe both parties need to be enrolled in a program to be together. So we do accept community member that you don't have to take class. You still need to pay the program fee to be in a program, to stay in a hotel room. Of course, you can request a room together, right, Paula? Yeah, if you have, I hope that answers your question. Any other questions?
Kelly, I think we should just clarify that for community members who want to participate
Mm-hmm.
and not take the class, there is an additional $500 fee for community members, and that goes to the Foundation for Study Abroad Scholarships.
Oh, yes, you're not just traveling, doing study abroad program. In this case, you are doing something great because you're supporting students who are financially have financial difficulty to enable them to participate in future study abroad programs. So we welcome you to join the program and just make a $500 donation and then pay the same program fee. You can participate in the program.
That a question I'm seeing in the chat that I think you and I have talked about, but there's a lot of students asking or participants about potential free time and if they can come before or stay longer than the trip if they want to explore more. Can you elaborate on that, Zed? Zed, are you there?
Yes. So this is a faculty-led study abroad program, so there isn't the option of coming before the program starts or staying longer. I think in terms of staying longer, we may be able to permit that, but because it's a group program and our faculty-led programs in the summer, everyone goes together. It's not like a semester abroad program where students have some more flexibility in those, but in this program, I would say for arriving in Japan, you would have to arrive with the group, at least on the time when everyone is expected to arrive. And departure, AIFS has included group transfers and departures as well. So it would be dealt on a case-by-case basis, but not permissible for the entire group. So at the start of the program, all students would be expected to arrive on the arrival day within that time frame so that AIFS can meet everyone at the airport and then transfer you to your accommodations. And then the departure date is set, and we have a group transfers for that as well.
Yeah, we do have a question in the chat regarding flight. If you choose group flight, yes, you'll be flying together to Japan and flying together from Japan back to SFO. And there'll be an airport pickup and drop off as well. So I see most questions have been answered. Feel free to unmute yourself if you have more questions. One more. So we're flying together. Does the ticket are included? So you can you have option to opt in for the group flight. That's additional cost on top of the $4,300 program fee. The group flight is adding on top of that. We don't have the number yet, right, Paula? So we will have the number soon.
Yes.
Yeah, we will have the group flight, how much does it cost soon. How would we go about choosing the group flight? You just, when you apply, you let us know there's option for you. Do you want a group flight? Then you say yes or no. If you say yes, we'll add you to the group flight. And if no, then you will buy your own flight. Just make sure you get there on or before the program starting date. Since you can leave, as Paula mentioned earlier, you can stay 90 days in Japan. This program is shorter than 90 days. If you choose your own flight, you have option to stay longer. That's what Paula mentioned before. So I can, on our website, there's a planned itinerary. I can share with you in the chat. So feel free to, this itinerary may have minor changes in the next few months because as we're getting closer to the program, some small changes might happen, but in general, this is what's going to happen. It's application essays only for student working towards degree. No, the application essay is for everyone. Everybody needs to let us know why they want to do study abroad and those questions. If we choose our own flight, we can stay longer. Then it's only for the group flight that we have a set arrival day. Yes, group flight has a set arrival day and leaving departure day. How much money would you say we're gonna spend more than it is not included? Well, this question, it depends on what you buy in Japan and how much money you spend personally. And for meals, for this many days, how much would like a typical mid-range meals would cost? Paula, would you take a guess?
Students generally say between $700 and $1,000, again, depending on your shopping habits and how much you go out to and do other things besides what's already included in the program.
And if I may chime in, I have spent a lot of time in Japan, so I can help you make wise decisions about how to live cheaply if you wish. Definitely, Kathy, it is definitely dollars, not yen. That would be about $7 to $10, and that is.
I was pretty sure that was a mistake. Yeah, I was just joking. Yeah.
Yeah. But there are lots of ways to especially eat very cheaply if you wish, and the food is still really, really good. And it's just a question of knowing where to get what type of food. And I'm more than happy to help you navigate that. The only thing is that there's a lot of fish in everything. So if you are allergic to fish, you want to be very clear about that going in, because when you ask what type of meat is in this, they will say it's meat. And then it's like, yes, but what type of meat? And they'll say, oh, crab. Okay, crab is shellfish, and lots of people are allergic to that. So, you know, there's particular things. They now have menus that have allergies listed on them.
And I will say that in Japan, beyond fish, there is a wide variety. I've been there with people who don't eat fish in terms of there, you can find amazing noodles and other things. Like, don't get too scared off. But definitely I'm with you, Hyla, on being careful on those, on the allergens. But if you just don't like fish, you will not starve in Japan. There is a very, very wide variety of food available. Personally, if there was one food I could eat for the rest of my life, every day, one country cuisine, it would be Japanese food because of the variety. So I think you will all do fine on the food front. It is a foodie country. And I do agree that you can, it really, and I'll just weigh in here on the what does it cost? It really varies how you live. In the same way, the Bay Area varies significantly on how you live. You could spend a lot, you can also do it on quite a budget. So I think that's more of a personal question. I think everyone here who's traveled to Japan would agree with that. There's the full spectrum of how you can,
Thank
eat and
you.
live.
We already have a chat going on where to get cheap stuff. 7-Eleven. I love the idea.
It's Lawson. It's not 7-Eleven there.
No,
Oh,
they have both. They have both Lawson and
Oh,
7-Eleven,
but
two
but
separate.
Lawson's like the king. That's
Yeah,
amazing, that place.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lawson's amazing. And like we don't think of convenience stores as places where you would choose to go to eat, but in
Mhm.
Japan, convenience store food is homemade, fresh, it's really good. You know, there are definitely other places besides convenience stores, but you know, it's very accessible. There's a lot of choices on food, and not all of them are very expensive. Like if you're going to have McDonald's burgers your entire time, that will get expensive. But if you want to enjoy the local cuisine, there's quite a lot of it, and it is not terribly expensive.
And there's also like, remember this, they have like set lunches and things like that, really inexpensive, lots of variety, different kinds of food. But then there's also just like street food. I mean, a good old ramen shop in Japan is the best thing in the world.
now I'm convinced. I'm going. One, raise your hand if you are seriously consider to apply for the Japan program. We want you to go. Yay, Kathy.
Or put it in the chat here. Yes, I'm in.
Mm.
No, I think it's going to be a fabulous program. I see people signing off. I just want to reiterate here that there's an amazing study abroad team. As mentioned at the beginning, Kelly has recently shifted over to the district office. Gerardo has taken over, but there is a great support network. Zed, who had to peel off for another meeting, or I believe Zed, nope, he's back. Is in the office, stop by, ask questions, email. There's lots of people that can answer your questions as you think about this decision. You have a few months. We're really excited. We have some great faculty lined up, AIFS on board who's done this many times. You'll be in fabulous hands. So I just want to wrap up with that. Zed, Kelly, other things to say?
Um,
Or
when
faculty
will the
piece you want to add?
application open? It will open soon. Zed and the team is working on the application right now. And in the meantime, stay tuned. I put a study abroad email in the chat.
Kelly, do you want to mention when the next Gilman cycle should open, or around when?
January, end of January, mid to end of January next year. But yeah, there was a question in there if you applied before but did not get scholarship, can you reapply? The answer is yes. If you applied, you received the scholarship, then the answer is no, you cannot get twice. You can only get once for the Gilman scholarship.
Zed and Kelly, will you be sending everyone who registered the copy of the slides? They're asking where they'll be able to see the slides.
Yes, we can. I will send it to Gerardo, you have the list of the participant, and I will send you the slide, and then you can send everybody an email to follow up after the info session. Yeah, we will email you the slide. How do we get updates? That's an excellent question. Since you joined this meeting, you RSVP'd, we got your email address. We will email you with the update when there's any update. Yeah, thank you so much for joining us today. I know we went over for a few minutes because we got too excited about Japanese food, and I want Japanese food for dinner. I appreciate you all. I see some familiar names, faces, and then yeah, I'm looking forward to having you in in the program. Yeah, if thank
Great
you.
presentation. Thank you
Bye.
so very much. Great presentation.
Yeah, we will send you if there's local Japanese festival, we'll send you maybe we'll send you some Japanese literature, movie recommendations. Get excited for Japan. Bye everyone.